Hey, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. I'm Alex. Hi. Usually, I talk about the most popular caped tales, the grandest of superheroic spectacles. I try to look at these characters, these stories that we deeply love and infuse them with my own passion, my own feeling. I try to share that feeling. When I was first starting the channel, that was my goal, to make you, some of you, all of you, one of you, feel something that you usually would not feel when watching a video essay or review, whatever you want to call these. But honestly, it was never my intention to get trapped in a bubble, to cause a stir, screaming into the void of hot takes and unintelligible media cynicism. I started the channel to try and connect with you. Yes, you. And I mean that, because if you clicked on this video, you are watching my stuff, my creations, for reasons other than seeing Spidey in the thumbnail.
This is something else.
I wanted to build an audience, not to get rich, not to get famous, but to find my people. I always felt lonely, even amongst the crowds, the companions. I never felt seen. I know you can relate to that. That's the irony of loneliness. We all share it. So HiTop Films was created to be seen. Created so that one day when the time came, I could share my true passion with all of you. Telling stories. We all tell stories. What you wore today tells me a story. The tweet you posted, the music we make, the food you ate. We are always telling our stories. Trying to convey some kind of truth that we feel deep inside that we must share with the world. But I've been keeping secrets. I've been lying. Before we start, I gotta thank the sponsor of this video, Raycon. Whether you're searching for a pair of everyday earbuds, looking for low latency gaming headphones, or a speaker with a battery that will last all night long, Raycon's got your back without breaking the bank. Raycons start at half the price of other premium audio brands. Raycon's everyday earbuds are durable and resistant as all hell. Drop them in a puddle, leave them in your pants during laundry day. Get stuck in the existential rain that never seems to cease. No worries, dude. These bad boys are sweat and water resistant. They come in a variety of different colors for your different moods. You got carbon black, electric blue, flare red, and rose gold. No matter the color choice, these things will not fall out. They've been designed to fit perfectly, comfortably, with a nice noise-isolating, secure fit. Ready to buy something small with a big impact? Click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/HiTop to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. Thanks, Raycon, for supporting the channel, and thank you guys. About 2 years ago now, I suffered a massive case of heartbreak. I had my heart broken. Not by Spider-Man, not by a piece of media, not some hyperbolic exaggeration meant to grab your attention, but actual heartbreak. Someone I thought I would grow old with reminded me that the only permanence is the impermanence. You could probably tell with the kind of cynical, self-reflective, self-indulgent poetry masquerading as media critique that I was uploading at the time. Behind those uploads, I was the lowest I've ever been. My blood alcohol levels were higher than the amount of calories I was consuming. And I was so afraid to talk about it publicly. Which is funny, right? I preach vulnerability, empathy, sincerity, yet I was too afraid to be myself, to tell you about myself. So I told you through the likes of Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, Peter Parker. I hid behind their masks, as I always have. I don't talk about every movie I see, every story I read. I only talk about the movies and stories I think you see. I probably watch at least 100 movies a year. That's not a flex, that's the sad truth. Yet I talk about the same 5 characters. I'm hiding in the comfortable cowl, the safety of Spider-Man's web. Where is the video on Good Time, Raging Bull, Possession, Evil Dead, American Honey, or the hundreds upon hundreds of films I watch on loop? Where's my sappy look at how Moonlight changed my life, or how Wong Kar-wai got me into foreign cinema, or how David Lynch is one of my favorite filmmakers? I mean, come on, man. About a year ago, when my heart started to heal, I began to realize that talking about the latest MCU movie did not fulfill me in the way it used to. Being 23 and getting yelled at for opinions I had when I was 18 and angry did not exhilarate me in the way it used to. I'm not mad at you, I promise. I dug myself my own hole. And within that hole, I remembered that when I started, I wanted to be myself around you. I still do. So this video isn't for them, it isn't for the algorithm, it isn't for clicks, it's for me. I'm making a video for me to share with you. But what do I even have to say in a video that's for me? That's supposed to be the ultimate representation of my authenticity, of my truth. I guess if I had to say something to the world, no, fuck the world. I guess if I had to say something to you, it's tell your story. I've spoken to a lot of you. Sometimes it's me seeing what you've said to me. Sometimes it's me saying things to you that I'll never know how you'll respond to. Sometimes, too rarely, it's a genuine conversation. I do know that a lot of you are artists, storytellers. You may have aspiring in your bios, but I know you have dreams in your head. I'm going to talk about filmmaking here, but I seriously think this applies to all forms of storytelling. Filmmaking is just what I know best, and if there's one thing I know about filmmaking, it's how scary it can be. A painter needs a paintbrush, right? A writer needs a pen. A filmmaker needs... What does a filmmaker really need? There are so many videos on here, TikTok, wherever, that tell you there is a set path to becoming a filmmaker. I'm here to tell you that's bullshit. When I was younger, I thought being a PA on a film set would give me my chance, my shot. The greatest lesson I learned was that all the money, monitors, tungsten lights, and red cameras in the world cannot buy you the ability to create a feeling, no matter how much you want to believe it will. It's not about the gear. Gear is cool. It's not about who you know. Who you know is cool. Thank you, Bailey, for editing. It's not about how much money you have or your parents have, although having money is pretty cool. It's not about your fucking color grade or what software you use or what camera, even though cool color grade and expensive editing software and camera is cool. It's not about that art degree or that film school diploma, even though having those in the eyes of society can be really cool. All that is a shortcut, all that is distracting, all that is meaningless until you make it meaningful. There is no magical door that will open once you have those things. You have to build your own door using whatever the hell you have, what you don't have, and then you have to kick that door down. Did the Safdies wait for Hollywood to call? No. They literally went out on the street and told their story. They told their stories through other people's stories. They found souls that were vulnerable enough to speak and they let them scream. Did Sam Raimi wait for Hollywood to call? No, he literally dragged his homies to the woods and told his story, expressed himself like no other. Did Kevin Smith, Robert Rodriguez, Christopher Nolan, countless others wait for Hollywood to call? No. Some of you will have more resources than others. Some of you will have your school's money, your parents' money, the kindness and generosity of others. Some of you will have no money, no connections, no resources. You have to kick that door down. If you're like me, wait. I'm doing that thing again. I'm speechifying, I'm talking down, trying to sound smarter than I am, lecturing at you because I'm afraid, insecure, avoiding. Well, yeah, hold on. Some of my story. I always liked telling stories. I wrote a lot of fan fiction, played a lot of make-believe. I think I wore a Batman costume and called myself Bruce from the age of 4 to 5. Spider-Man 2 was the first movie that made me want to make movies. Eventually I made movies with my friends, got noticed, started the channel, got more noticed. But that's not truthful, is it? Truth is, I was so shy. I used to cry every day before school, like full-on sob. My first day of high school, I puked on the stairs. I'm not joking, seriously, I projectile vomited. I did not have many friends when I started kindergarten. I think my dad and Batman were the only two that I could call real ones. Throughout grade school, I wrote my own superhero stories, my own angsty poetry, but that never really caught anyone's attention. What did was the fact that I could fill an English essay with superfluous fluff like no other, so I was told I was gifted. I joined the gifted program. I don't know if you had that growing up, but in my school, that meant you got to go with a bunch of wealthy white people to a different school one day a week and read slightly more advanced books. I quit the gifted program because I thought it was elitist bullshit that only encouraged the minds of those who were told they were special from the moment they popped out. Even back then, I would rather be with the people who were told they were not gifted than ride a bus away from them. The people who are not deemed gifted usually have a lot more intelligent things to say. Plus, I never related to the smart kids. The smart kids, they knew they were smart. I thought I was an idiot. I still do. The smart kids had rich parents who lived in big houses. My family lived off food stamps and shady loans. Anyways, fast forward. I come out of my shell a little bit. I find like-minded souls. I meet my best friends who are now my collaborators. I've known these guys half my life. I start making little movies on my mother's camcorder, then on my iPod Touch, hours and hours of footage. I told stories about leaves, rain, and toilet bowls. Water droplets were my Marlon Brandos, and my action figures were my ensemble cast. I stumble into a film club when I'm 16. That film club leads me to a film job, which leads me to learning from more experienced artists. And I say all this as if I was aware from the start, aware of why I was writing, why I was watching movies and making little movies on my phone. I was not. I did not come out the gate wanting to be a director. I sure as hell did not want to be a YouTuber. I did not know how to want to be any of those things. All I knew, and let me know if you relate to this, was that I did not want to be me. My parents were addicts. My mother and father both had mental health issues and self-medicated, and I hated them for it. I hated my mom because she couldn't figure out how to love me when I was no longer her baby. I hated her because some days she would never stop moving and other days she could not move. I hated how she dragged me around from family member to family member, showing off how creative I was. I hated her when she got sick. I hated her when she got low. I hated my father because I watched him strangle my mother when he was withdrawing from heroin. I hated how I didn't recognize my friend, my dad. I hated him when he left me with my mother while he was in the hospital. I hated him when his addiction caused him to spend all of my grandmother's money. I hated when she had to sell her house and I had to move to a new school for the third time. I hated him because we lived in a shitty rundown apartment with leaking pipes and sobbing walls. I hated them because we didn't have a car. I hated the fact that they bought me everything they could, but that didn't fix what was broken. I hated having to hide them from my classmates, my friends. I hated the fact that they were both supposed to take care of me but could not take care of themselves. I hate myself for inheriting some of their vices, their illness. I hate my memories, the ones of their violence, their sadness. I hate my reflection because some nights it looks like theirs. I hate my younger self's hatred for them, my resentment. I hate my love for them because I do love them. I would not be here without my dad's willingness to accept me. I would not like superheroes without him teaching me to read through the words of Bill Finger Stan Lee. I would not like the movies I like. I wouldn't have the balls to dream. Despite everything, my parents taught me that it's okay to dream, that those dreams can be achieved. Maybe they lost their chance. Maybe the lack of love they received, the lack of help this world has to offer, maybe all that took their chance away from them. My dad could have been, he is a fantastic artist. My mom could have been, is a great designer, a storyteller in her own right. I still have my chance in the eyes of society, and that's due to them. For so much of my life, I felt hate. My anxiety comes from being seen. If you all saw how hateful, how bitter, how sad, how lonely, how isolated I was, maybe you would hate me as much as I hate me. How fucked is that? The birth of my love of my art comes from the hatred of my life and myself. I mean, back in high school, I'm winning a local Emmy for a TV show I co-created. I was telling off producers and trying to stick to my pretentious vision. I was doing all this before I even knew who I was. I mean, I was myself to them, to you. I was so myself. I would give speeches to younger kids. I would talk live in front of hundreds of people. But the shyness never went away. It's still here. I think I created a version of myself that could be loved. The real me, that little boy, he's still terrified of you. Why am I telling you this? Sympathy? No. Understanding? Maybe. Or maybe I'm trying to express that I can express. That we have the ability to be there for each other, to understand each other through the art we create. A lot of you haven't seen our short films. I say our because I can't take the credit for the team. Our films have been the team effort of translating my angst. To me, The Scarecrow was about the guilt I felt being followed around by a demon of my own making. I hid behind the Scarecrow's gaze. To me, date night is me processing feeling like a monster, feeling like I'm unworthy of love, companionship. I hid behind the monster's mask. To me, the plumber is about my desperation of needing to be seen, the isolation of feeling unnoticed, screaming at an audience who you believe will never listen. I hid inside the pipes. I'm making a feature film right now that's about the trauma of child abuse, addiction, and the deep longing that can cause, the deep longing for love and for connection that I've always felt, the burning desire for Batman to drop down from the sky and save me. Yet, I've only really advertised this to you as a Jason Todd Robin fan film because that sounds good, that sounds cool, that sounds desirable. A Robin suit is a much more marketable thing than a young man who desperately needs love. I guess I'm hiding behind Jason's domino mask now. If you couldn't tell, Jason is about me, and about him and I. Without spoiling too much, the first scene is ripped straight from a memory I have of my parents screaming, crying, hurting each other while I watch, wait, hope for Batman to rescue me. He's still Jason. Our version is very faithful to the work of Max Allan Collins, Jim Starlin, Judd Winnick, and so many people who have been lucky enough to wear his mask. Now I'm wearing his mask, not because somebody asked me to, but because I needed to. I've been trying to tell you this story, his story, my story, and it can finally happen thanks to you. Thanks to the collaborators, my friends, my family, the loves I lost and the loves I've gained. Hollywood did not come knocking. Instead, I took all that and I shared it with those crazy enough to dream with me. And with them, with you, we've accomplished wonders. We've built sets without a production team. We've cast phenomenal actors without having an agent. We are the writers, directors, producers, editors, scripts, gaffers, costume designers, and cinematographers. And it all started by telling the truth, my pain. Why am I telling you this? Because I would never, ever have thought I could. I was like you. I am like you. Stories to tell, pain to share, but with no outlet. I built myself one. You can too. I promise you, you can. You have to build yourself one. Unless you're privileged with wealth, luck, or genuine once-in-a-lifetime talent, you have to pave your own path. You have to work harder than everybody. You have to let yourself feel more than anybody. It's horrible. It's a curse. It's inspiring. It's a gift. What was the point of all this? Therapy? I think so. My videos are always self-indulgent because art is about the self, myself, yourself, our shared sense of self. I just wanted to share and show you that you can share. You can share and you can hide while you do it. You can create a persona, a vessel, and some people, hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, or maybe just one person, they will see you. They might hate you, they might love you, they might even think they know you, but they will see the story you've been trying to tell. Some will call it insanity, others will call it genius. It does not matter. All that matters is you. Your truth, the truth you want, need to tell. You cannot put a numerical value on that. Your ideas, your point of view, your pain, your love, those things are priceless. They are the only thing that you have in this world that is priceless. And they matter. More than followers, fame, and fortune, they matter. I want to see your story. I want to feel your truth. Talk to me about Batman and use that to express your ability to turn pain into hope. Talk to me about Peter Parker and use that to express the massive responsibility you feel to make a difference. Talk to me. Whisper to a friend. Scream to a crowd. My dreams may end up like those of my father and the countless souls before him. Lost, buried underneath the unfortunes that life hands out. This channel, Jason, might be the peak of my storytelling. I may not be the next great filmmaker, whatever the hell that means, but you could be. And if I've ever wanted to leave you with anything, if this is the last thing you'll ever listen to me say, then please know that I mean this. You could be the next great artist, but more importantly, you can change someone's life with the stories you have inside, the stories you have to tell. You can. I promise you, you will. Thank you for listening, for supporting me, for supporting my dreams all these years. I cannot express enough gratitude for you and all that you are. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell for all things superheroes. Bye.